Not so rich as Captain, though. Oh. Turn him away. Off with you. Anything for Captain. Nothing like Captain anywhere. All the girls raving mad. Eh, Joe?
Oh, God, stop him. Get rid of them.
Certainly, my dear. Muzzle, open the front door.
Yes, your worship.
Now, leave this house.
Pleasure. Nice acquaintance. Very. Joe?
Stay.
Sir?
I might, sir, have taken a much greater revenge for the treatment I have received at the hands of you and your hypocritical friend there. This is a leniency which I hope you will remember.
True. Bow, Job. Thank the gentleman. Only proper.
Of course.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I have only to add, sir, that I consider you a rascal, a ruffian, and worse than any man I ever saw or heard of, except that pious and sanctified vagabond in the mulberry livery.
Good fellow, Pickwick. Fine heart, stout old boy, but must not be passionate. Oh. Bad thing, very. Bye-bye. See you again sometime. Keep up your spirits. Now, Joe, front.
Oh, the vile wretches!
Sam, where are you going?
Man, I'll polish off that here Job in the front garden, sir.
No, you may not. And now, Mr. Hopkins, having discharged my duty, I will bid you farewell. Be assured your secret is safe with me. Your servant, Miss Hopkins. Sam, get your hat.
It's below stairs, sir. Won't be a jiffy.
Here he is, in this corner behind the door. This is it, isn't it?
Let me look. So dark, I have to come close to see.
Well?
Yes, that's it. Well, goodbye.
Goodbye, Mr. Weller. Oh, now you've dropped it. Oh, how awkward you are. Let me put it on for you. Oh, Mr. Weller, you don't mean to say you did that on purpose?
No, I didn't. But I will now.
Mr. Weller.
Sam!
Go along now. You're being called.
Goodbye, Mary, my dear.
Goodbye.
Come in, sir.
What a long time you've been, sir.
There was something behind the door, sir, which prevented us from getting it open for ever so long, sir.
And this was the first passage of Mr. Weller's first love.
That's the last of your luggage unpacked, sir. I'll just take this here coat down to be brushed.
Oh, Sam.
Sir?
I've been thinking, Sam, that having left a good many things at Mrs. Bardell's, I ought to arrange for taking them away before I leave town again.
Very good, sir.
There's some rent to pay. The quarter's not due till Christmas, but give Mrs. Bardell the money and my month's notice of tenancy. Here, it is written out. Tell her she may put up a bill as soon as she likes. And Sam.
Sir.
I have no objection, Sam, to your endeavouring to ascertain how Mrs. Bardell herself seems disposed towards me, and whether it's really probable that this vile and groundless action is to be carried to extremity. That is, if you wish, Sam.
I understand, sir.
Another 10 minutes and the pettitoes will be done.
Oh, good.
Put out the knives and forks, will you, Mrs. Clappin?
Yes.
Bless my soul, whoever can that be?
Oh, it's nearly 9 o'clock.
Tommy, go and answer the door, there's a good boy.
Right, Ma.
You weren't expecting nobody, were you, Mrs. Bardell?
Nobody at all. Listen.
Yes?
Oh, it's you, is it, young'un? How's your mother?
She's pretty well. So am I.
That's a mercy till I want to speak to her, will you?
I don't know that voice. No. Who is it, Tommy?
It's in what waits on Mr. Pickwick. Name of Weller.
Mr. Pickwick's servant?
Well, I really wouldn't have believed it unless I'd happened to be here.
Evening, Mrs. Bardell.
Good evening, Mr. Weller. Oh, this is a friend of mine, Mrs. Clappins, what was spending the evening with me.
Servant. Sorry to occasion any personal inconvenience, ma'am, as the housebreaker said to the old lady as he put her on the fire, but as me and my governor has only just come to town and he's just going away again, it can't be helped.
Of course, the young man can't help the faults of the master.
Oh, certainly not.
So all I've come about is this here. First, to give my governor's notice. There it is. Second, to pay the rent. Here it is.
Oh.
Thirdly, to say as all his things is to be put together and give to anybody as we sends for them. Fourthly, that you may let the place as soon as you like, and that's all.
Whatever has happened, I've always said and always will say that in every respect but one, Mr. Pickwick has always behaved like a perfect gentleman. His money was always as good as the bank's, always. I'll go and write you out a receipt, Mr. Weller.
I really can't contain myself, Mr. Weller, when I think of such perjury. I don't wish to say anything to make you uncomfortable, young man, but your master's an old brute, and I wish I had him here to tell him so.
I wish you had, ma'am.
Oh, to see how dreadful she takes on, going moping about and taking no pleasure in nothing. Oh, it's shocking.
Indeed.
Here's the receipt, Mr. Weller, and there's the change. And I hope you'll take a little drop of something to keep the cold out. If it's only for old acquaintance' sake, Mr. Weller.
Well, that's very kind of you, ma'am. I don't mind if I do.
Mrs. Clappins came in to have a little supper with me, as you can see.
And very nice it looks, ma'am. Pigs trotters, toasted cheese and boiled potatoes, nothing better.
There's only enough for us, though, ain't there, Ma?
Lord, tell me what a thing to say. What will Mr. Weller think of you?
Well,
there, Mr. Weller. It's just a little port.
Thank you, ma'am.
Look, Mrs. Bartell, see what you've gone and done. What? Look on the tray.
What? If I haven't brought out 2 more glasses and filled them. Here's my poor head, Mr. Weller. Half the time I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, ladies, I can never drink before supper unless a lady drinks with me. So since you've poured it out, I recommend you 2 ladies drinks it.
Just a sip then.
I don't know as I've had for port.
Try it, ma'am. Only way to find out.
We ought to propose a toast. I say success to Bardell against Pickwick.
Now, you can't expect Mr. Weller to drink to that, Mrs. Clappins. It ain't fair to him.
I'll just drink your healths, ladies. And here's to justice, which ain't the same thing as law by any manner of means.
Oh, it's a terrible thing to be dragged before the public in this way, Mr. Weller. But I see now it's the only thing I ought to do. My lawyers, Dodson and Fogg, tell me that with the evidence we shall call, we must succeed. I don't know what I should do, Mr. Weller, if I didn't.
When is it expected to come on, ma'am?
Either February or March.
And won't Mr. Dodson and Fogg be wild if the plaintiff shouldn't get it when they do it all on speculation?
Speculation, eh?
Not a penny have they asked me for. They're such kind-hearted gentlemen, Mr. Weller.
They must be, ma'am.
But the plaintiff must get it, that's certain sure.
I hope so.
Well, ma'am, all I can say is I wish you may get it.
Thank you, Mr. Weller.
And them Dobson and Fogg, as does these sort of things on spec, as well as the other kind and generous people of the same profession as sets people by the ears, free gratis and for nothing, all I can say is I wish they had the reward I'd give 'em, and a fat and happy living they'd get out of it.
In Part 4 of Charles Dickens's The Pickwick Papers, dramatised by Barry Campbell and Constance Cox, the part of Mr. Pickwick was played by Freddie Jones. Sam Weller, Douglas Livingstone, Tony Weller, John Hollis, Mary, Alison Fraser. Mr. Jingle, Paul Chapman, Job Trotter, Tim Wilton. Mr. Winkle, Philip Bond, Mr. Snodgrass, Stephen Thorne, Mr. Tupman, Michael Graham Cox. Mr. Magnus, David Sinclair, Miss Witherfield, Hilda Schroeder.